So we did three things today, right? We opened up by talking about the pricing process in general, and the big learning points for me is, first of all, let's pay attention to pricing much more than we normally do. Instead of being a sort of ad hoc decision we make once a year, what are the steps and processes for making a sound pricing decision over and over again, and all the ingredients that go into that pricing decision. Then the second session was really about competition. So we talked about how to manage a competitive market, thinking not only about the competitors and the reasons why they, might have a price decrease at some point, but also my actions that I take that might lead to a price war, and also how do we deal with consumers that are increasingly price conscious. That was the second session. The third session was about price promotion, and we talked about dumb promotions and smart promotions. And we talked about sort of 6 different criteria on how to make a promotion much more lasting, much more impactful, selecting the right kind of customers, getting the right kind of behaviors, and measuring it properly, essentially. My initial impression was actually quite a strong one. So it was evident to me that a lot of people came to me and said to me, you know what, you were absolutely right at the beginning. We do pricing once a year, and we look at our costs, and we look at competition, and then that's it. That's the end of the story. We don't pay much attention to our pricing process. So interestingly, one impression that I got from the feedback is that we really need to, there's a bit of a lack of sophistication in the industry. It's a very important thing, pricing, but for some reason, we just do it once a year, very secretively, but without thinking about it very thoroughly. So that's, I think, one impression to summarize is that there's really a lot of work we can do to make the industry more profitable, let's say. That's one thing. And the other thing that I seem to get from the dialogue in the class is that there's a lot of competition in your industry, a lot of it that triggers down or leads down to price, rather. But it doesn't seem that people necessarily know why they're doing it. It seems like we're a little bit paranoid about our offers. We're all commoditized. Everybody's a commodity, even though you're selling education in a sense, which is very emotionally charged. But everybody thinks it's a commodity, and therefore we kind of act through price without necessarily being convinced of what we're doing. Basically what I did at the beginning of the class, I put down a very simple profit formula. You got price minus your variable cost, multiply that by your volume, take away your fixed costs. What do you get? You get profit. And then bit by bit, we considered little changes we can do to each of these ingredients to increase profits. And we found that without any sort of magic or tricks, we found that, hey, lo and behold, the biggest bang for your buck you can get by being price optimal, by optimizing your price. And again, what we saw in the room, however, was that we don't spend as much time there. We spend time on costs, sales, but not much on price.